qual più al vento muta l'accento e di pensiero sempre un amabile leggiadro viso in piango in riso e menzognero la donna è mobile qual più malemento muta l'accento e di pensiero
You got us into this parking lot, pal. Now you get us out. You want out of this parking lot? Okay.
Would there be anything else?
Yes, do you have a Miss Piggy?
Hello, folks. This is Mackenzie Lambert, joined by my special guest, John Cleveland.
Hi, everybody.
We are going to go ahead and go into a segment that we have recently brainstormed and we're going to present to you. It's called The Three Tenors. This past Christmas, John was cool enough to give me a book completely of top 10 lists of various elements of films.
That's a Kwanzaa present.
And it's called Top 10 Lists Movies, and it's from Rob Hill. Unfortunately, though, the book was published in 2014, so it's going to be a bit dated.
Yeah, it's going to miss some things.
Yeah, so, but still, I think there's a lot of good stuff in here, and you'll hear us contribute the segments of this new program sporadically throughout the different podcasts in the future. So it's like an extra little present.
There you go. Good way of putting it.
Yeah. All right, so our very first one, we had to go with top 10 car chases.
It's an easy one. It's a fun one. It's energetic.
And so the way this format's going to work is we're going to go look into Mr. Let me make sure I got his name right again. Mr. Hill's list. We'll go through his choices, and then since John was kind enough to give me this book, he'll be next on. He'll give his list next.
First on the cutting block, isn't it?
And then we'll close out with mine. And the way this has worked is we're going to go through the top 10 list completely before we move on to the next person's top 10 list. All right, so
without further ado.
Yes. Let me just go ahead and quickly read Mr. Hill's introduction. With so many great movie car chases to choose from, and 2 or 3 so comprehensively dominating the landscape, there was need for some brutal culling here. So Bullet, 1968, The French Connection, 1971, and The Italian Job, 1969, are the joint subjects of this list's tribute. So he exempted them from the list because they were so obvious. But they might appear in our list just because it's hard to deny them.
Maybe.
Yes.
You'll have to tune in.
Keep listening.
Yeah.
All right, for his number 10, we have Tomorrow Never Dies.
A Bond film. A bold choice.
Yeah, this is the multi-story car park chase where he's got the remote control car, which...
is a very cool car chase.
It's probably one of the few highlights of Tomorrow Never Dies.
Hey, I like Tomorrow Never Dies, but in all fairness, I've actually never seen a Bond film I didn't like. They're all passable. They're all fun.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, number 9, The Bourne Identity from 2002. This would be the Mini Cooper chase.
Of course, it's a valid choice.
It is an amazing sequence.
I'm actually surprised it's this high on the list and it's supposed to be much lower, closer to like 1s or 2s. That's a really good chase scene.
And, of course, with the Mini Cooper, you can't help but think of the Italian Job.
Of course, they defined that car.
Yeah. Number 8, this is one I haven't seen, To Live and Die in L.A.
Yeah, that's a pretty good car chase. You know what? I didn't even think of that, but that's a pretty good car chase.
All right. Number 7, Death Proof, 2007 from Quentin Tarantino.
Awesome film.
The dialogue is hard for me to get through. It's Tarantino at his most self-indulgent.
Oh, well, which is saying a lot. Well, it doesn't involve feet, so I don't know if that's true. But, no, it's just an amazing film.
Oh, no, but the car chase, oh my God.
Oh, it's so good.
With Zoe Bell on the hood.
On the hood of the car. It's so good.
Number 6, Ronin, 1998.
So good.
There is something about European car chases that...
They're driving on the wrong side of the road. That's what it is. Everything's more crazy there.
Oh, that, and also you've got and the great thing about this is that there's no music, so there's no way for you to anticipate what could happen in this chase.
That's it really defines it, or it doesn't.
Number 5. Okay, this one's going to be a bit iffy for me. The Matrix Reloaded.
I'm not going to lie. Had this list incorporated honorable mentions, I might have mentioned it. It's a very interesting chase sequence because it's a fight scene on cars.
It's just that the CGI, just for me, it takes me out, and it
That's fair.
removes the sense of danger. But
You don't like the twins?
nah,
It's the dreadlocks, isn't it?
yeah. Number 4, Gone in 60 Seconds, the original 1974 version.
Classic.
Especially interesting considering that H.B. Halke was the director, lead actor, and also did his own stunts. So
Yes, but he didn't write it. Never write and direct and produce the movie. That's a rule.
And if you've seen this movie and you've had to sit through the dialogue, it shows.
Yes.
Okay, number 3. I've only seen bits of this one. The Transporter, 2002, with Jason Statham.
Somebody just pressed the acceleration button and never took their finger off. It's the movie that started his career in America. It's the movie that we all know him from. To this day, when I bring him up, several people I know will just bring up The Transporter, regardless of everything else he's done, because that movie is just adrenaline, and it's a good. It has several car chases actually. But I think I know which one he's talking about.
Okay. Number 2, Fast 5. I could never get into the Fast and Furious series.
You know what? I usually am not the kind of person where I'm above it or something like that. And I'm not saying I'm above it at all, but I also couldn't get past it. The first one is actually a good film. I hated it when it came out. All the people I knew, or I should not, a lot of people I knew in my hometown did that thing with their cars. They put spoilers on it, neons, all that stuff. It was stupid. Yeah. However, looking back, that is a very good film. It has a lot of merits, and I, came around to it. The series as a whole, though, at a certain point, it's the Michael Bay scenario where physics no longer matters, explosions are more important.
CGI cars.
Yes, pulling banks with nitro, it doesn't, whole bank vaults ripped out of banks. This is an actual scene, folks. It's crazy.
And Mr. Hill's number 1 is one I still haven't seen either. I know this is probably going to be on my back catalog. Vanishing Point.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I haven't seen that movie since it came out. Wow, that is a good movie. Well,
right.
It has good sequences. I wasn't in love with it, but it is a good movie overall.
All right, I'll definitely have to give it a check out on because I've heard when it comes to car stunts, this is one of the movies people always point to.
Yeah, no, that's a good call, and it will it will not be on my list, but
mine either.
Almost thinking about it now. Yeah.
All right, so that is Mr. Hill's list. John, go ahead and impress us with your selections.
Well, again, these are my top 10 favorite. I'm not going to per se say they're the best, but I would argue with you if anyone wanted to do so regarding if it really is the best. All right.
Oh, and I will agree. That's basically my caveat as well, is that I wouldn't consider these the best. These are just my favorites.
Yeah. All right. So starting at number 10,
okay.
Mad Max 2.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. It was it was really hard to pick specific car chases for this list. But when it came down to just a movie that's defined by car chases, a movie where that's an important role, or just the car chase is awesome, Mad Max has it all. Mad Max 2 is just balls to the wall, aggression, and a chase sequence is the perfect outlet for that aggression. It's great.
Yeah, talking about a series that's always synonymous with chases. I mean, you just look at Fury Road, the whole movie is a giant chase.
Spoiler alert.
Well, yeah. For those who haven't seen it.
Yeah. All right, so number 9. Number 9, The Italian Job. But I'm choosing the 2003 remake. The remake. Right. Again, it's the Mini Coopers. I remember seeing it when I was in high school. It's an awesome sequence, and the kitting out of the cars that you would in every day look at and go, oh, no one could do anything cool with that car. Well, turns out you're wrong. So, all right, number 8, Duel from 1971.
Oh, if I ever had an honorable mention, it would be this one.
Yeah, Duel is it's phenomenal. It's sad because I'm thinking of it and you're watching it and you're just like, this is just a chase sequence taken to feature length. Also a great thriller.
Made for TV.
But then you realize, this was made for TV. But then it all starts to make sense when you find out who directed it.
Steven Spielberg. This was his actually first feature-length film.
Correct. He had done small sequences. Matter of fact, he got the job because of a sequence he did for an episode of Columbo. And the producers was like, oh, this kid's got talent. Let's give him a made-for-TV movie. He took Duel. He said himself, he could never make Duel again. It was, the amount of time, effort, and energy he put into it would not be replicated by how much it cost to make. But little things like having the camera, like things that people didn't do before, having the camera outside of the car strapped to the side so you got the view the car had, gives you a real sense of urgency and also a sense of doom. Because if you don't know, Duel is a story of a man who's getting hunted down by an 18-wheeler.
Just because he just went around him.
Yeah, and it's so iconic at this stage. Other films, Jeepers Creepers is a Joyride. They'll just steal that idea and try to make it their own, and it never works. Duel is perfect.
And timely enough, I just recently did an episode on Richard Matheson's I Am Legend, and this is based on a Richard Matheson short story.
Yes. So, good from top to bottom. Great film. All right, number 7, The French Connection. It had to be on the list. Unlike Mr. Hill, I didn't omit it. Yeah. I just kind of didn't really. I'm going to tell you right now, people are going to be upset that it's not in his list and it's not number 1 or number 2 on mine. But I love it. It's a phenomenal film and arguably probably the best or second best film on my actual list. But this isn't about the film. This is about the chase. The chase itself. And it is a phenomenal chase.
That may or may not appear on my list. So.
It's one of those where it's like when you anything. If you talk about a car chase sequence and you don't bring it up, I don't care if it's your favorite. I don't care if it's in your top 3 or 4. If you don't bring it up, you maybe haven't seen it. Is the only excuse. Yeah. So, all right, number 6, The Blues Brothers.
Oh yeah.
From 1980.
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to say all of them, but realistically, it's the final chase where everything's on the line and everyone's after them.
Yeah.
Everything. It's so good.
That 20-car pileup.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing that as a kid, thinking, in the biggest car pileup, I've seen like 3 cars. And so they just keep coming. I think it's amazing. It was so great. And I've watched it today. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Literally, we're sitting in a room. The poster for the movie is on the wall. I love that film. And that chase sequence is great. It's also, for how, realistically, I don't know, it's not graphic, but realistically violent it is. It's hilarious. And then, just the aggression, all the cops get out of the cars and just start shooting wildly at the Blues Brothers. It's great. And then in the final scene, when they finally get out of the car to run into the building, the car just falls apart. It has gone through hell. All right. Cutting the list right in half, down to number 5. Smokey and the Bandit. Another film that is quintessentially just a chase sequence. But when it comes to just classic, when it comes to just great sequences of just pure actual skill behind the wheel, in a very realistic setting as much as you're going to get in these kind of films, Smokey and the Bandit's great. It's got the comedy elements with the sheriff. It's got action sequences. And unlike Duel, where the car's being chased by the 18-wheeler, the car is leading the 18-wheeler.
Oh, yeah, you got Jerry Reed.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And a random casting that perfectly works. Yeah. I buy him as a trucker who so happened to supply an iconic song for the soundtrack. And it's just great. And it has a weird connection with me. Not to go on a bit of a side tangent, but for whatever reason, anytime I move into an apartment, it is the first film I watch in that apartment. I don't know why. It just serendipitously happens. It's very odd. Number 4, Mad Max Fury Road.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. Like I said, spoiler, you thought I was talking about the series. Yeah. I'm talking about my own list. Fury Road is a balls-to-the-wall, adrenaline film that's predominantly one chase sequence. Arguably 2, but it is everything you want in a chase sequence. And somehow, so beautiful in its majesty and its gore.
Yeah.
From every little detail, you're watching that film, and I've actually seen it in when it was in IMAX. I saw it in the theaters. I saw it. Actually, we got an early screening, which was awesome. I own it. I actually own the rare black and chrome edition, which is just black and white, but it's phenomenal. And the best part is other things about the film are every part about that film's awesome, and then you realize Tom Hardy has 5 lines of dialogue in the entire film. Max. Matter of fact, one of them is "My name is Max," and he doesn't need any more. He's the protagonist. So's Charlize Theron as Furiosa, but mostly it's just their mission to go. The emphasis of the movie is forward progression, movement. away from the danger.
And this is a movie that revels in its practicality. Because you look at some of the designs of those cars.
Oh, yeah.
It is amazing.
It's amazing. And also, like, when you're watching it, there are scenes and you're just like, oh, that's got to be CGI. No, those men are actually on giant 20-foot tall poles flying back and forth at top speed while other cars are driving around them. It's crazy.
Crazy Aussies.
No one died. I don't know how, but no one died in the production of that film.
Because George Miller is that good.
Well, spoiler alert, if you remember some of the things that happened, no one died in Mad Max or Mad Max 2, to my knowledge. However, there were some severe injuries. So, yeah, he learned from his mistakes.
Yeah.
But either way, phenomenal film. All right, number 3. Now, this one actually moved to number 3. It was at number 2.
Okay.
Bullet.
All right, yeah.
Again, a film where if you're talking about car chase sequences and you don't bring it up, you haven't seen it, is the only excuse you have. It is phenomenal. It is arguably the de facto chase sequence. It is the one, I don't want to say the one that started them all. There are early chase sequences.
Yeah.
However, it is the one that defined what a chase sequence should be, and to this day is the gold standard.
Yeah.
So, all right. And there's not much more to say about it than that.
Yeah.
All right. 2, the one that surpassed Bullet, in my opinion. Death Proof.
Yep.
The film is almost entirely a woman on the hood of a car being driven by her friends driving away
Stuntman.
from a stuntman who believes himself, with all evidence that we have perceived in the film, is immortal while sitting in his driver's seats because of the construction of the vehicle, who wants to kill them. It is phenomenal.
Yes.
Quentin Tarantino is one of my favorite directors of all time. Handles it beautifully. I remember watching this, and it's one of the few times that I can actually remember. Like they say, you're on the edge of your seat.
No,
you
actually are on your seat.
I'm like, every time he bumps that car, I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna fall. Like thinking that it's just gonna be a gore scene and they're gonna move past it. So I was always on edge for her as an actual stunt woman, and sometimes the actual actress sit on the roof, are laying on the roof of a car going max speed, not down like straightaway, old country roads. It's crazy.
And I can imagine just the insurers watching this movie going...
Oh, I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. All right, and then finally, my number 1. If you haven't figured it out by everything, it's pretty obvious at this point. It's Ronin.
Oh, yeah.
It's a phenomenal film. It's arguably the best film on the list with The French Connection. And the chase scene is just phenomenal. Again, I made the joke, it's in Europe, so they're driving on the wrong side of the road. There's actually a part in it where they're driving backwards. It's just phenomenal. There is nothing I could ever assume to think would improve this scene. It's not too long, not that I think any of them are, but it doesn't drag. It's not too short. It doesn't leave you wanting more. It ends exactly where it should. Everything makes sense. It's nitty gritty. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And that's my top 10 car chases.
Awesome. Excellent. Yeah, good list. I highly agree. I have a lot of those good selections. For mine, starting off at number 10, The Rock, 1996. The Humvee chase through San Francisco. Excellent way to establish Sean Connery's character.
Yep.
Just a wonderful tense sequence overall.
Yep. Proof. Every time somebody says that
they hate Michael Bay, this is always the one exception.
Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, I have a couple other little things I put in, but yes, it is the movie. I go, you like The Rock, didn't you? Michael Bay directed The Rock.
Number 9, Terminator 2: Judgment Day. The C-1000 and the semi chasing John Connor on the little scooter bike.
Yep. It's a great film, and that sequence is amazing and was on my list at one point, and I had to get bumped off, but that is a great sequence.
Yep. Number 8, this one might be obscure to some people, but John and I have seen this movie before. Blazing Magnum, 1976.
Yes, and it is obscure.
Detective Saida chasing the Swede in a Mustang, and just one of the most insane car chases I personally have seen.
Yeah.
Remy Julien, one of the all-time great stunt coordinators and stunt drivers, this was his masterpiece.
Yep.
Number 7, The Italian Job, 1969.
Yep, you like the classics.
Yes. Particularly, there's a whole madcap car chase sequence on rooftops and through piazzas. There is one sequence, though, that was a deleted scene, but you can find it on YouTube. It's well worth it. It's the 3 minis and 3 Italian police cars actually waltzing to the Blue Danube in the background.
Ooh, I have not seen that.
It's actually wonderfully choreographed.
I'll have to check that out.
Let's see, number 6, Death Proof, 2007. I have a problem with all the dialogue in the beginning, but once you get to that car chase, it's just wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Yeah, it's just a great sequence.
My number 5, The Blues Brothers, but this one is the mall chase.
Okay, no, it's a beautiful. It's I'm not arguing with that. It's great.
Yep. Chaotic. It's fun. The great use of Otis Redding. You can't turn you loose. It's just a beautiful, beautiful track.
The new Lincolns are in.
Nice. This place is everything. Number 4, Ronin, 1998.
Yeah, there it goes.
Particularly, one thing that we didn't touch on is just you get a sense of claustrophobia from these chases.
Yes.
The camera's really tight on the cars. It's often in enclosed spaces like tunnels and stuff. So, and the cars reach speeds of 120 miles an hour, which is insane.
Yes.
And you've got 300 stunt drivers in that sequence alone.
Yep.
So
I think I've heard a statistic once. They literally were importing stunt drivers from other countries because they ran out in the country it was filmed in. It was just like that's an amazing thing. You hired every single stunt driver in the country.
Number 3, this one didn't make any of the list. The Driver, 1978.
Yeah, no, it's a good flick.
The opening car chase, which was completely lifted by 2011's Drive.
Yes.
Ryan O'Neal as the driver just maintains an alarming coolness, just seemingly dodging cop cars like they were nothing. It's probably one of the more I think, other than Blazing Man, it was one of the more obscure choices on the list, but it's worth seeking out.
Yes, I also agree.
It's Gone in 60 Seconds, 1974. No, I think we pretty much have touched that one to death.
Yeah, it's another one that's like, if you're not talking about it, you haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. And number 1, of course, The French Connection.
Yes, it's arguably the best of all time.
And you hear just some of the circumstances, like they did this without a permit.
Yes.
They actually went into traffic. Yep. Those cars you see crashing are real civilians.
Yes, people were very upset by that. And you could not do that today. That would never work. That would literally put down a whole production company. They'd sue them out of business. But
But God. And also, too, I noticed that the recent footage they released for Captain Marvel completely stealing from The French Connection.
Oh, yeah, 100%. There's something to be said about the fact that when people start ripping you off, you know you've hit something.
Yeah.
There's a famous quote where like an actor saying that is like it's not imitation is a serious form of flattery, but like basically when people are ripping you off, you know you've achieved something. So and it's true. It's an amazing film, and that sequence is just it's iconic. You know.
Yeah.
So.
All right, that finishes up our list on our top 10 car chases. If you have any topics you would like for us to go through, even if they're not in the book, we will still do top 10 lists. We're open to pretty much any topic within reason.
Yeah, well, yeah, within reason. I mean, I can think of 100 off the top of my head, so I'm interested to see what other people bring up, but I know that other things... You can think of something, and I guarantee either one of us has ever thought about it, or even if we haven't, we're like, yeah, that might be interesting. Yeah. Of course, it's the internet, so you're all going to prove me wrong, but still, it'd be cool. Drop us a line, write a comment, let us know.
Yeah, well, you can, whatever it is, whether you prefer reaching us out on social media or leaving the comments on the podcast, either way, just let us know what you want to hear.
Definitely.
That's what we thrive on, is what you people want.
Yes, we're attention horse. That's what he's saying.
All right, and that wraps up this one. Thanks, everyone, for taking time to give this little clip a listen.
Yes, thanks for stopping by, and see you next time.
Yep.